Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. Following up on yesterday's video, which we did the guild boss meta, we're going to go through all the Twisted Realm bosses, found this awesome post, so we're going to go through this and hopefully get you pointed in the right direction. With all of these, they put the recommendations, signature items, and furniture and stuff like that for characters. They're the ones that are most needed, but obviously having things at higher ascension will change your teams personally. But we'll look at the core things that you want to do, and more importantly, what unit you would want to mercenary for these bosses if you were looking to do the best you can, because obviously we can mercenary one unit into every boss, which can really help your performance in them. But anyway, let's get into it. First off, for the credits, it's in the bottom corner and really hard to read, so I took a snip so we could see it. The credit, I ain't going to be able to read that name. And then we have the edit was by Dusk Watch Ira. I think that's a capital I, not an L. I thought it was an L first time. My bad. Sorry, guys. Jason and In Season, who we've had on the channel before, and Noisette. So big shout out to all those guys for the credits. Like I said, it's down in the bottom corner there, and my screen doesn't catch it. It's like really hard to read. But let's go. So starting it off with Kayn, Talene still holding the meta for this one. Obviously, he's going to execute the ally that's done the highest damage. So Talene definitely wants to be in there for that damage. The thing that surprised me on this one was that they're both using Jura's Eye. I always thought Jura's Blade would be better for the longer battles, but both Grizzle and Talene in the front row using the Jura's Eye. Warwick for the defense break, Silas for the attack up, and Twins for obviously the haste. And that team's pretty self-explanatory. You just want Talene to deal the most damage, then she can die, then she can come back, then she can die, then she can come back. And the really nice thing about Talene in this fight is when she does die, she comes back with extra stats, so it's not too bad. So signature item 30 recommended there. Grizzle, signature item 29 of 9. That 99 furniture of Grizzle being vital for everything he wants to do. And then Silas wanting 39 of 9 to be able to get those effective attack buffs going. So moving on from that, this is the common replacement team. If you don't have like an ascended Talene, like in this one, probably the best one to mercenary I'd say would be the Talene, because if you're mercenary heavily invested Talene, get her to do the most damage, at least you have your full team on the board the whole time. This team basically makes use of trying to have one unit die, normally Belinda, straight up, then Soros and Rosaline will do a bunch of damage, then Soros will die next, and then Rosaline can still do a little bit of damage, but that's pretty much the cycle for that one. If you have to on this, I think I remember that you can just not use Soros's ult, and use Belinda's ult straight away to try and make her ramp up the damage so that Soros can stay around for longer, heal up, and do more damage. So that's pretty much the basic there, and that's why we have Rosaline in the front row with the Soros to link her to Soros, and that's why she's also got Blade, and Belinda's in the back hoping to die first. So that is Kayn. Moving on to the next one, they do also have the replacements of the Warbringer with the Blade. Over this one, obviously, you've got Silas replacing with Daemon. Daemon's the interesting one. I get the Mortis, but the Daemon obviously just for the extra deeps, and that's pretty much the point there. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. Moving on to the Demonic Entity, which we covered not too long ago. The new meta is going to be that Moriel, Chicken, and Estrilda. It says signature item 30 recommended for the Chicken. I don't know if it's 100% needed, because his 30 signature item means that in a Sandstorm, they're losing 2% of their current HP per second. And to be honest, when you've got this comp running, the things die in a second. Like 2% in that second, I don't think is going to be the most needed thing. And it just there, it does have that required for Estrilda is going to be that 3 of 9 furniture. The confusing thing is can be replaced with Mortis, but Mortis is already in the team. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but that is the core team. Otherwise, you can still just go the staple teams using the Chimera. And then there's also one for those without the Moriel to use the Chicken as well. But if you do have a Chicken built up, like I said, a lot of people build him up for the 3 furniture. If you've got a Chicken built up with 3 furniture, I wouldn't stress too much, and I'd just go mercenary a Moriel, because then it'll get you the highest possible damage. I don't think the 30 signature item is required from the Chicken, but then we've got the old school Chimera team, and then there's the option of replacing the Chicken there as well. So moving on from that, we do have the Unhinged Arden. Now this is my favorite boss, because Raku the man gets his time to shine. Now with this one, I do believe that you do not want 9 furniture. I honestly think that unless you can play it on manual. But basically, you don't really want Raku to ult. You want him just to keep going pew, 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 pew. Because the Unhinged can be stunned, you get that extra effect out of Raku. So Raku's really nice in this battle. Absolutely pumped. I'm just loving Raku all round at the moment. Then we obviously have the just staple meta of Grizzle, Warwick, Mortis, and Twins. And if people are asking why Grizzle isn't in the guild boss meta, it's because the battles are too quick. Because these ones always go to time and it's pure damage, Grizzle has more time to ramp up. So that's the basic gist behind that. Can be swapped with the Raku with the Saurus, obviously. And then there is your B option using the Rowan and stuff. But yeah, Raku in this one, really, really savage. To me, for this boss fight, I don't know who the best mercenary would be, whether you go straight for the Raku, like, because you do need a really solid rest of the team. I feel like if you could build this sort of a team, like if you have Twins, Rowan, and Rosaline in a team, you can probably go for the Raku and then use any other support. If you got the Grizzle built, use him. If not, you can probably use something else just to get it done. But if you struggle with survival, maybe Saurus would be a better option. Moving on from that, we do have the Ice Chimera. Now, I did a lot of testing on Ice Chimera. I was really hoping that you'd be able to run in with the Lucretia and just get Lucretia ult 2 times really quickly and then negate Chimera's ultimate with the Lucretia Knight Furniture. Couldn't get it to work, which is really sad because it would have been sick if it worked. But we do have the Saurus, Grizzle, Warwick Twins meta. Basic stuff, and then you basically, it's just like a standard boss meta, this one, but you're subbing in the Aziz to obviously get the lockout on the Chimera. Aziz is a very vital part to this one because you don't want it to ult at all. So that's pretty much the gist behind that one. And this one's like more of a budget player's one who hasn't gone in and built the Grizzle and the Warwick, and you can go ahead and use the Rowan and Rosaline. Same effect. The Rosaline actually makes it, the Rowan and Rosaline, to be fair, actually make it a little bit safer to do on full auto anyway, because you've got the extra regeneration in there, and you just got way more ults. So it's a lot safer on auto to go ahead and get it without the Ice Chimera getting any ults off. Moving on, we have the Grotesque Mage, and this is where Isolde gets his time to shine. I still struggle in the Grotesque Mage. For me in the Grotesque Mage, for early game players at least, just take your strongest units and just try and like I just honestly put on full auto. Now there is a lot of tactic behind this battle, but this is the meta comp. Like I said, I'm not great on the Grotesque Mage. But obviously, I think this one is a bit more stally. So I think the one on the right is a burst comp where you go to use all your ults really fast and then let him disappear, but do as much damage as you can. This appears to me to be more of a longevity team where you're trying to last as long as you can. Like the damage is insane in this fight, but I think this one you're trying to last the fight because obviously you have Isolde who's ramping up his own attack, Grizzle who's doing skeletons without ulting. You got the Twins for the link. You got Silas who has really good healing potential without using an ult and doesn't really need it. And then you've got Warwick for the defense break. So this team is actually really solid without any ults. But obviously a Twins ult here and there is going to be fantastic. Same with an Isolde if you need to heal, or a Grizzle to get some skeletons out. But that team's more of a sustain team. This one over on the right is more of a burst option. For this fight, like I said, just hire anything with big damage and just try and go ham because the Grotesque Mage is just like, he's a crazy fight and I still suck at it really bad. So I don't want to give too many side tips on that one. Just play around. That's my best tip. I play around with it. Sometimes I can get into the legend ratings, but yeah, it's a bit tough. Moving on from that, we do have the Burning Brute. So Antandra, this is sick. I'm really actually pumped to see Antandra in there. I'm gonna have to do some testing on Kiasma with this one to test it out. But the Antandra getting a run in there, and then obviously with the standard Grizzle, the Mahira is always strong in this fight as well. But can replace with the Rain or the Cecilia. For newer players, Cecilia is really, really key for this fight because especially when you're not full 240, she's going to help keep the rest of your team alive. Pretty much the same in a lot of the fights. Like Cecilia is just a great boss unit for early game players as well. But yeah, this team, I'm going to have to play around with this a bit more because it's a very interesting looking comp for him. Damon must get close enough that he can proc his Blood Shield as well. Mahira also does run really far forward, and then obviously you've got the Grizzle and the Warwick, but Mahira also giving that haste as well. And then this B team, this is what a lot of people I think would end up using. That's like just the standard boss core plus Cecilia to reduce the damage, and that's pretty much it. As you can see, there's a lot of replacement options in there if you don't have things. So that one's really flexible, but really, I almost always find Cecilia to be necessary for a lot of fights, just because that damage reduction. However, I don't know whether it's with Antandra you play her on manual and then try and avoid that damage when she uses her ult because she's immune to damage during that period. That might be the case, but yeah, this is still on the right. This is the team I use. Very easy, slap it on auto, away you go, and it's very solid. It might not be top tier like this, but this is getting very min-maxy. For most players, I recommend aiming for something like this. Number one hero to mercenary on this one is going to be that Saurus. For newer players, because you know, if you've got an elite Rosaline twins, Rowan and Cecilia with an Ascended Saurus, you can actually do some decent damage for where you're at if you're like at 220 and the rest 200 or something like that. So, but make sure if you do Mercenary Saurus, as always, he has 30 signature items. But anyway, that is going to be it for all of the Twisted Realm bosses. I love little recaps on this, makes you think about stuff, change up your teams. So let me know if you guys actually got any use out of this and changed up your teams from it. But thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.